Walking in wisdom requires an awareness, taking off the blinders and seeing what's happening, going around you, wherever you might be. In 1995, I was doing a craft show because for quite a few years, basically, I made jewelry. I was doing a craft show in Charlotte, North Carolina, selling the jewelry that I made. Much of it was based on indigenous art that was done hundreds of years ago by natives on this continent. And one afternoon, the quilt maker who was behind me came up and started looking at my work, and we got talking about it. She wanted to know what some of these things meant, what was behind the image. She asked me about one type of image that I had done pins of, which I called spirit guides. She wanted to know what that was all about, and I told her that as best that we can tell, it referred probably in their world, it referred to healing, health, and perhaps death. And she asked more questions, and then she told me she was having difficulty trying to figure out what she was going to say to a friend of hers who had just learned he had terminal cancer. I guess maybe when I mentioned healing and death, that kind of sparked this in her mind. Nonetheless, we spent some time talking then about some things that I had experienced in my life as a clergyman and working with people who had that experience. She thanked me. She turned away and went back to her booth. The next afternoon, I was at my booth, and I felt this tap on my shoulder. And I turned around, and it was the quilt maker. She looked at me and said, "You left a footprint in my life." And I, with a tearful hug, told her that she had left a footprint in my life as well. But it was a tearful experience for both of us at that time. And over the next 2 years, I got to thinking about footprints that we leave in other people's lives. I remember one quotation from a book that I read called The Story of B. And the quotation was, "The impress of your foot in the soil will be felt through 1,000 generations." I was commissioned to do a walking stick for Jane Goodall. And on that walking stick, as it spiraled in the wood, I hand-lettered from the tool that I had, burning the words into that walking stick, thinking that of all the people I could think of, definitely Jane Goodall would have been one that would leave an impression in the soil. But we all leave impressions in the soil of people's lives. 31 years later, where we are today, I have not seen the quilt maker in person, but we have maintained a contact. Right after I was thinking about that for those 2 years, I made a small pendant in sterling silver and gave her the first piece. It had 2 footprints in it. And now, continuing through these many years, every once in a while we're in touch with each other. And we go back over and talk about the footprints that we left in one another's life.